Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Happy Wednesday night, everybody. Thank you for all joining us on the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. Tonight we have a Sean Butler special, and we are joined by many of our good friends from the Fixed Ops Roundtable who all know and love Sean very well. We have Sarah Vantine, Ed Roberts, and Sean Kingrey joining us tonight.
Not to mention, we have Katrina Ness and we have Vanessa Collins. So
yes, we
welcome,
do.
everybody. And thank you for being here. Some of you on short notice, but thanks for coming together. So, Katrina, what are we working on here? We're like getting close to the big event.
Yes, we are. We're super close to our Fixed Ops Roundtable's 90s Rewind event, and we cannot be more excited.
And Sean Kingrey, who's that in the chat?
Mr. Nico Guerra, my good buddy. For those that don't know, this is about Sean Butler tonight, but my good buddy Nico on March 16th was north of Atlanta and was in a pretty horrific motorcycle accident. Ted called him, I think, a week ago Sunday. Yeah. Broke some 50-some bones in his body, and officially today got his neck brace off and took his first step since March 16th. So,
Nico, we love you, and it was great to speak to you on the phone, and wish you a speedy recovery, as speedy as it can get, right? So,
right. So, yeah.
All right. So we have some special people in the chat. Taylor Maddox is here tonight to express her love and our love for Sean Butler. We'll be talking about Sean. Damon Decker. Let's see. Does that name ring a bell, Sean? And
Hurricane. Hurricane himself. That's him. That's Damon.
I didn't know about that nickname.
Oh, that fits him too. Let me tell you.
All right. I'll leave it there. All right. Tony Owens.
Comes in by storm.
Yes, that's it.
And a lot of good friends on here. Tony Owens and Damon Decker and Rebecca Chernick is here. Rebecca, welcome on Facebook tonight, and a lot going on. Sarah Vantine, what have you been working on? What's going on?
What's going on? We've had a busy week. So one of the things that you've probably seen Ted posted this afternoon, or if you haven't yet, check it out. But we have been diligently working on the Certified Dealer Awards, and that is something that's really exciting that we are going to be rolling out the announcements for that. In addition to that, we've got our big event coming up May 13th through the 16th.
That's right, we sure do. And you and I have been very busy doing those interviews, Sarah. It got to the point, Ed, where we were doing them like every hour, and then we went to every half hour, and then we're like doing them tandem at the same time. Okay, so crazy stuff. Ed, you're all over the event.
Hey, it's whatever it takes. That's part of what Fixed Ops is. You make it happen. You got balls juggling and things moving, and you keep them going.
Jason Tuck, good to see you. Vanessa, I don't know if you know this, Vanessa, but Sean Kingrey, he's on a lot of panels on this event as well. He really enjoys being on the panels as well.
Yeah, so I've heard. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to see all your segments, Sean.
Thank you, Ted, for the opportunity. Like Ed said, it's whatever it takes.
All right, so tonight's show is about our dear friend Sean Butler. Robin Butler is in the chat tonight. Sean, can you give us some color where we are? You and I communicate a whole lot. Kathy Hamlet, good evening. What's the latest on Sean that you can report?
And I think you're the one that talked to him the latest, but obviously for those of us that follow him on LinkedIn, usually he does a report on Fridays. This week it was on Monday, and I think, Sean understands what's in front of him. I think we all know what's in front of Sean inevitably, and I think Sean's coming to grips for that. So I think now more than ever, and I think Ted and I are on the same page on this, it's time to come together to help Sean and his family. Despite the medical bills this week, there's been some household issues, an AC unit and a roof repair, and the roof repair is north of $20,000, I guess. And again, those are unexpected, and those are things that Sean sent Ted and I a message. Kathy and I had a meeting on Monday night and said, hey, listen, I don't know if I'm going to make September. And guys, you got to think about sending that message. I don't know if I'm going to make the event in September. Please promise that you and Ted will make sure that event happens and that my family is taken care of. That's about as heartfelt a message as you ever want to receive from another man. Okay. But he understands what's in front of him. And his priority is still to this day, Robin and the kids. It always has been Robin and the kids. It's never about Sean Butler. And if anybody knows Sean or knows of Sean, it's never been about Sean. He can keep saying, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And he should coin that phrase, but there's so much more involved here. And he from the bottom of his heart cares about Robin and his family. It's all about them. It's not about poor me. It's not about the fact that we know the end is coming. It's about the fact I need somebody to make sure they're going to take care of my family and that they're going to be there in September. Ted and I have asked him if he has the opportunity. He shared this on Monday. He shared it on the LinkedIn post on Monday. We're trying to get the event moved up to June. I was talking to a good friend of mine today, one of my body shop managers, Casey, and we were talking about how cool, I'm almost done, guys, I promise, but how cool it would be to be able to plan your own exit. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but that's what Sean's trying to do. And the celebration of life and being able to be there for that, I think is pretty cool. So I hope the opportunity comes in front of them, that they have the ability to switch it to June, and that we can all be there for it.
And Sean, before I ask Ed Roberts a question or two about this, you've got something to share also, something special in your life that Michelle has helped create a beautiful post, and I don't know if you're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Absolutely. So obviously we made, Kathy and I made the announcement about our engagement on one of the After Dark show, after Ted gave us permission to get married, by the way. But during that occasion, the comment came up of what we're going to do, and that means Ed has to ask Tasha sometime too, but we'll get to that. But listen, during that show, and it wasn't planned, guys. Listen, Kathy and I have had very blessed lives, okay, and obviously I'm more than blessed to be here, and I know that. I know what I faced a year ago. But that being said, guys, anybody who wants to give a gift or thinks about doing a gift, Kathy and I are okay. The gifts need to go to Sean. So we're asking, in lieu of gifts or in lieu of anything, please donate to Sean and his family. Kathy and I will be fine, I promise. But again, Michelle puts this together with Kathy's help online. And this is the first we're sharing it, by the way, is on air here. We shared it with Ted first, got Ted's permission. And again, anything we raise for Sean and his family, that's where the money needs to go.
So that's fantastic and very, very humbling.
Yeah.
Sean. So there'll be a new GoFundMe page, but you can go right now to fixedopscares.org and donate directly to Sean and help them. And Ed, we've seen a lot of things happen during the course of our careers, but there's nothing like when the community gets together, behind one of our own.
Well, truly, we are family, and we live in a fixed ops world, but we're a fixed ops family. And just listen to a few things that's been said so far. Sean and Kathy getting married and want to give the gift, whatever gift you're thinking about giving to them, wants to give it to Sean Butler's family. And then Sean Butler wanting to make sure that his family's taken care of in his absence. But not only that, the guy has limited days in front of him, and we know that. And he's expressing that, hey, yes, go get checked out if things aren't right. But additionally, he's using those last days that he has to still go to work every single day to take care of his family. And we are truly family in fixed ops. And this journey that we get to go on in life is truly a journey. More times than not, we don't know when that journey ends. He's at a point to where he knows it's coming to an end at some point, but is still living every day for what he's left the rest of his life for. And that's to take care of those around him. And he's still mentoring those techs at work. He's a phenomenally good stand-up dude that isn't wavering from anything that he set out to do in life, even in the situation that he's facing right now. And it is heartfelt and tough to watch, but it's also very cool to watch and see his level of commitment.
Thank you, Ed. And we're all there for Sean Butler, and both now and in the future. So we've been with him on this journey, and it's been a very heartfelt time. And Ed, for this upcoming event that we have at the Fixed Ops Roundtable in about 9 days, Sean Butler is all over it, and you've been on a number of those segments with him. Where he's got a young technician with him on that panel. Speak to us about that, because you were on that with Jeremy and with a young tech from Bozard. And that actually, I think, encouraged a lot of the dealerships who were on that panel. Sean Kingrey, you were there as well. Ed, talk to us about that, because Sean is a big part of the event.
Well, it is. He's a big part of the event because he's about developing talent. He's about developing our future. And a lot of times we lose sight of that, and we go out and we try to find that next best hire, that next rock star. And those guys had to get a start somewhere. And Sean is truly about lending a helping hand down and pulling someone up to allow them to be that next superstar. And it is phenomenal to watch. And ever since I've known him now for about 5 years. And ever since I've known him, we've chatted back and forth about how do we grow people, what he's doing to grow people, and all those things. He hasn't changed a bit. He's still Sean at heart. And that is most tugging to me, that, hey, we're going to do what's the right thing to do. And that's what Sean does.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm looking at all the folks in the chat tonight. Larry Sherman, Robert Sebastian. Robert, good evening. Big part of our early roundtables. Nick Guerra coming to us from the Sean Kingrey. He's in the hospital bed right now, right? Nick Guerra.
Yeah, northeast of Atlanta, about 65 miles.
Well, amazing. And Sarah, you and I interviewed Sean Butler on a number of segments that are going to be on the show. One is with Sean Kingrey, but speak to us about that, because he was very free with his time, and we only talked about things like Ed just mentioned, developing people and bringing people into the into automotive fixed operations.
You know, it was amazing to hear Sean Butler talk about how he got into automotive and just hear his story. And I think it's important because, you know, all of us in our lives at any point in time, we're going to have struggles. There's going to be challenges that we're going to be facing. But Sean, throughout his life, you know, he's talked freely and openly on the roundtable. And when we've had the opportunity to interview him and talk to him about it, he's always so candid, and he's always so, you know, just true with what he says and how he says it. And so he talks really openly about how he's gone, you know, through his life and all the different ways that he's grown in the automotive industry. And I've known him, you know, we worked at Scott Clark together back in 2016, and we worked together for many years before he left and moved with his family. But, you know, it's such a testament when he was talking about how, you know, all these different times in his life, it's like there's been moments that have challenged him. And those are the moments in our lives where we can choose what path we go forward with. You know, do we wallow in self-pity? Do we let it take us down? Or do we find that extra gear, and do we take a look at the situation and think about, well, how can I change? What is the good that can come out of this? And Sean is such a testament to that light that is, here's what I can see as the good in this situation. And he's brought such a spotlight on being self-aware of things that are going on in your life and being open with others and sharing that with the broader community. And so, you know, it's just been so inspiring to hear from Sean and see him, you know, as this leader in automotive that's been able to really inspire a lot of people. And even outside of automotive, you know, Ted, that's the other thing that you and I were talking about. I've got family members of mine that they don't know really any other connections in automotive, but they watch the roundtable and they were inspired by Sean to go and get colonoscopies and take care of their health and to look at these things. And so he's reaching not just our own little community, he's really impacting people all across the country.
And Sarah, I did a panel with Sean Butler this past Monday, 48 hours ago, and it was on mentorship. And he was on that panel with several other superstars. And I asked him, I said, who has been a great mentor in your life, Sean? And Sean Butler said that David Blackburn, your friend from the Scott Clark Automotive Group, has been one of the great mentors in his life. So I thought that was interesting. And Sean Kingrey, I know you and I were inspired by Sean's message of getting things checked out. And last Thursday, I went and did the colonoscopy. And, you know, if it hadn't been for Sean Butler, you know, pushing me to make sure I do it, I might not have done it, Sean. So
Right. And Ted and I shared, and I'm not ashamed to say it, that 30 days ago I had mine done. And by the way, I had one done at 30, and it was the worst experience of my life. So I said I'd never go back. And if it wasn't for Sean Butler, I wouldn't have done it, to be very honest with you. So the same lies here. So.
And Ed, it comes back to leaders and inspiring people, and a lot of the things that you speak about in your book, Ed, and when you go on the speaking circuit as well.
That's exactly right. Leadership is influence, and what Sarah just talked about is look at how many lives he's influenced and inspired along the way, and he's not stopping, and that's what I admire most. But it is our time to support our family and help them where we can. And if you can, help out. If you can't, just be supportive. But if we can help, let's try to minimize the bumps that they go through as they transition over the next however long. But it's our time to help support and give back and have some influence of our own. But yes, leadership is influence, and Sean's all about influence.
And Katrina and Vanessa, I know when you came aboard to be spokespeople for the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and then on the After Dark show and so on, this was not written into the script, that we would be supporting, Sean Butler in so many ways, and he would be inspiring us. So we're all very proud of both of you, and thank you for your generosity as well in, what you've done for Sean. And I know that's been behind the scenes, but Vanessa, that was very kind of both of you to do.
Thank you. And you're right. It's so fast how time can change. Even just a few months can change, and life is so fragile. And, just from being you can tell how much the Fixed Ops community loves Sean Butler. And we do too. We were so blessed to be able to meet him on an After Dark show last month. So in every way we can, we love supporting Sean.
Yeah, I mean, Vanessa and I have never met him in person, but, virtually and through the comment sections, we made this connection, and just hearing about all these amazing things and way he pushes up other people and puts others first. It's like everyone has been saying, and we understand how much of a great person he is and how much love we share with him.
So true. And, Sean Kingrey, I'm thinking back to last fall, right? When the community rallied around for you, okay, and
Right.
What you went through. Sean Butler has said that the little things like comments mean so much, and I'm wondering if you want to, share with us some of your thoughts behind that as well.
So again, everybody knows I had a heart attack in September and had triple bypass, and it's funny. I know you and Michelle and Kathy and Jalissa and John Fairchild at his wedding, literally, by the way, you guys did an After Darks live, and my daughter, who I think I saw a comment from her on her earlier, she's watching tonight.
I did see that. Yes.
I literally on my grandkids, I laid in her living room after surgery because I went to Iowa for a week and stayed with her and my ex-brother-in-law for recovery. I watched that video at night because you couldn't sleep at night because you can't lay down. It just is what it is. But I watched that video over and over, and I can't put into words what it meant, and I don't want to be over dramatic about it. But guys, it's a scary time, and again, I knew at that point I was going to be back to work very shortly, and I was. Sean doesn't have that privilege, okay, guys. Sean accepts for what it is. And there was a comment I think Michelle made during that video. Can we do a GoFundMe? And I think my daughter made, well, what's he going to do? Buy Diet Coke with it? Well, it's kind of a funny joke, but it's not funny for Sean. Sean's facing something, okay, and Sean wants to make sure that Robin and the kids are taken care of. And to Ed's point, guys, it's our time to help that too. And we all make a good living. We all know that, okay, that we're blessed to be in this environment. We're blessed to make the money that we do make. So again, to Ed's point, if you can't afford to get it, I got it. But come on, I can't stress enough. It's time. It's just that time. Sean needs to know everybody's taken care of.
And Sean Butler's condition, I have not seen him in person since January when he was up here in New York. But I've got a good idea of that condition. Ed mentioned he is going to work. Sean Butler is on hospice right now. Okay, I don't know if everyone is aware of that. He's on that hospice because they're giving him the best care that he can get right now. So he's at work most days. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, we heard that he he travels to work and he lives in a trailer during the week. Is that true? I said, yes, because it's many hours between the two states, one where he lives in, Sean, I believe he's in Virginia. Is that right, where he lives?
That's
and
correct.
Works in Tennessee.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So he travels usually on a Monday. Ed Roberts, and he lives in that trailer during the week and goes home on Friday. So, and I talked to him last Friday, and I know it's like 3, 4, 5 hours on some days to make that trip. And, the thing that he's doing all this, Ed, while, he's going through this, and he's walking with a cane now, he's very frail, very fragile. And, Ed, it's just, the will to live is Sean Butler.
Absolutely. And we think that we have a bad day when things happen to us and somebody cuts us off in traffic or whatever else. It's overcoming these kind of obstacles. And yes, most people didn't know that he lives several hundred miles away from where he works. But he does that because of the level of influence that he has in the company that he's with and what they allow him to do and grow people and whatever. And that's his passion. And to be that committed to drive that far to do those things, even in the condition that he's in now, he is, like he says, he loves people, and he is Sean Butler, and he's going to be Sean Butler until there is no more Sean Butler. And there's going to be Sean Butler for a long time because he's going to live within us for quite some time. So it's cool and heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Sarah, again, to have Sean at all the events, and especially at this one here, has been very touching. And some of the things that he's told us, both on the air and off the air, again, extremely touching.
And just a testament again to Sean's character and leadership. So, we've had the privilege, Ted and Sean and Ed and I have had the privilege to get to talk with Sean and interview him and let him, talk about all kinds of different topics in automotive and his expertise in leadership and thought leadership in these areas. One of the things that Ted, I found just inspiring too is that, this driving like that Sean does from, as he said, Virginia to Tennessee and then back home, twice a week. Well, Ted, when we went to BG Products when we went to BG headquarters, Sean Butler came up and we had the opportunity to do the pop-up event and interview Sean at that event. Well, behind the scenes, just to share with everybody, Sean was that leader in this event behind the scenes. He was texting Ted the updates, like, here's what's going on, here's where everything's at. He was being so inspiring to me as well. When he was watching some of the segments that we were filming, and he would be that, great job, that was awesome. And just, he's so much light and positivity. And, when he was traveling to this, this was an uncomfortable trip. This is a really long distance to fly. He flew, from his home. He made a connection in Dallas and then flew up to Wichita. And he does that because he is so passionate, and it is that leadership in him and his just desire to share his light with the entire automotive community and beyond that. And so I just wanted to share that story tonight with everybody as well, because, in this photo, I don't think people realize the effort that he goes through to be that light to us in the industry. And so it's our time, as Sean and Ed have both said, helping Sean and his family, helping them, support them. This is the time to do that. And please share this far and wide. It takes one click to share this message to your network and to your community. Just doing that little part, it's so impactful for Sean.
It was planned that Sean would come with us to BG Products. What was not planned was the weather those couple of days. You heard Colton talk about it on the show Monday night. And it was unexpected that we would call upon not only Sarah, but Sean Butler to help co-host that event. Okay. And here they are with Bob Tasca, Sarah in the fire suit, the BG Mustang behind them. Bob Tasca won the race. This was I believe on a Thursday. And Bob raced in that car behind them in that race suit that Sarah is wearing. That was his lucky suit. Sarah, you brought him a lot of luck, and Sean did as well. And Sarah, he won the championship of that race.
He did. And, it was so inspiring when Bob had the opportunity to talk to not only his fans, but also the employees and everybody at Beachy. Sean, again, like he's just such a leader in our industry. And he was talking with Bob and getting his take and his thought leadership and his pearls of wisdom. And it's just, it was an incredible event all the way around, but it was extra special because Sean was there.
Yeah, Sean made it very special, and great job to all of you for doing that event. And Sarah, that suit had to be really warm to wear for such a long period of time, which I know you did.
I didn't know that race suit is only designed to give you like 10, 15 seconds of buffer. So that's all that's between you and Inferno in front of you. The engine is in front of Bob in that car. And so when I say that when it's August and it is a real fire suit, and I stood in it for about an hour total, it was a little toasty.
Yep. And that BG Mustang, I've seen that all over now since that race. And they made it look good. And again, Bob Tasker, one of the leaders in our industry as well.
Sarah did bring us some luck because they have won a few races since then. They won that one the following that weekend, and they continue to get it done. They got it done this past weekend as well, and they're making things happen just like Sean. Sean's still making things happen, and I love him for it.
And we all love Sean Butler. Jason Tuck, I also want to call out the special relationship that the Fixed Ops Roundtable has with you and your company. David Reinecke, who's been on the show a number of times, Sarah and Ed and Sean, he was with us in Orlando at the pop-up event. And AWN does amazing work in our industry. And Jason, we're very grateful to you on behalf of Sean and his family for, the generosity that your company has shown. And, as well as many others. Okay. But yours in particular. So thank you so much for doing all that. And Tony Owens is all over the deal as well, and Larry Sherman. So I like that. So Sean Butler, all your friends are here for you tonight. And we'll put up that GoFundMe again with fixedopscares.org in just a moment. Sean Kingrey, any closing thoughts?
No, I want to go back on what Sarah said something and that BG event, if you pull that picture back up. Ted and I spoke that night. Ted couldn't get there. And I don't think it's stressed enough. Everything was shut down. Kathy and I were trying to find Ted flights as well as Delta was. And Sarah and Sean Butler made it there. The guy knew he had cancer at that point. He was still going through treatment. But to Ed's point, he doesn't give up. So again, I can't stress enough, and I'm not going to put my Jerry Lewis telethon hat on again. But again, if there's ever a time that we need to show what Fixed Ops is all about, it's now. And obviously, I've developed a relationship with Sean Butler and love Sean Butler, and some of the messages that he shared this week, you'll never take back. And I shared them all with Ted, obviously. And you want to know a guy who's focused on what's important. He's got it figured out.
Everybody, thank you for being with us tonight. FixedOpsCares.org is the website where you can make a donation to Sean and his family. And you'll continue to see that evolve. Okay, we'll be putting updates as well as Sean's family when you go to that fixedopscares.org URL. And of course, you could reach out to us for updates, and we'll bring them to you as much as possible. And we will all see you at the celebration of life, and we'll have more updates on that as we hear them. Right now, it's still planned for September. Okay, it may move. We'll see. All right, but at the moment, it's still as planned in September. So, everybody, thank you for being here with us tonight. And Katrina and Vanessa, thank you for the great job, and how you've grown in this role. As the After Dark show, as the co-host of this twice a week show. So we will see everybody back on Monday night, 8 p.m. And we have a great show planned. We have a great couple shows planned. And again, the big show is coming up on, let's see, May 13th through the 16th, the 90s Rewind. Tickets are complimentary. You don't have to travel. You don't have to pay anything to come to the show. No money out of pocket, no hotels, no airlines, none of that. And, you're going to see the best in the business. And it's an amazing show. And you'll start seeing some of the graphics coming up. This one here with Sarah and Steve Greenfield and myself on the future of automotive retail. We have a lot ahead in the next 10, 11, 12 days. So on behalf of everybody here tonight, thank you for being with us. And we'll see you all very soon.